I was facing a lot of bitterness growing up. You know, I used to be bullied as a child, you see.
But I have like everyday issues like anxiety or like feelings of overwhelm or like feelings of dread.
On certain like tough times, you know, sort of sadness, anxiety. I face a lot of anxiety currently.
My father, I didn't really know my father. The last time I saw my father, I bit him on his leg because he hit my mother.
Because I think, like Sophia said, it can be a very taboo subject.
Yes, I have personally gone down a very dark road of, you know, wanting to end my life.
Reliant on them, because I think lots of people get into relationships and become quite reliant on people, other people. And
so recently my dad died and it put me down a lot. I was going through a, bad phase. I still am through it, but
I really like that, the hero's journey. Love yourself, invest in yourself and heal yourself. That's true. Like, I think mental health and your journey by healing yourself.
You know, having this whole masculine thing. And I think men are glorified for keeping it in.
It's always been a struggle. Just persist. Yeah. If you can keep going, it's a victory. Yeah.
The thinker becomes obsessed with the future, with predicting the future, with controlling the future. This creates anxiety. A few years ago, I lost one of my friends, David. David worked as a programmer. He used to work for the BBC, and then he was a very well-paid professional. He had a beautiful wife, 3 beautiful children, and a beautiful house. So he appears to be happy, but in reality, he was battling depression. One day, my girlfriend came home, and she was crying. And I asked her, what's going on? She said, David. I said, what happened to David? She said, David committed suicide. So we had to go to the funeral and overcome all the negative emotions associated to it. Then I started researching the subject of mental health among men and women to try to understand why David ended his life. The research inspired me to write the book, The Hero's Journey. We are now in the streets. We are talking to the people in the streets to try to understand the mental health journey, to understand the strategies and tools which they use to overcome non-medical mental health challenges. Our hope is that you will be inspired to believe in yourself, you will be inspired to heal yourself and save the lives of your friends and relatives. Our goal is to inspire you to find strategies and tools which you can use to overcome non-medical mental health challenges. Whether you are a male or a female, all of us go through depression, to anxiety at one point in our lives. Hope this content will inspire you to believe in yourself, but also to start your own healing journey. So, thank you, my friend. What's your name?
Abs from Manchester.
Abs. So, Abs, what's your view on the subject of mental health?
I think it's a very important thing. It's something that I struggle with myself, and it's something that we should speak about, especially coming from a male perspective. I feel like we're so ingrained into saying don't speak about your emotions, man up, and hide your emotions. I think it's a snowball effect. That's why I try and speak about it.
Have you experienced yourself mental health challenges?
Yeah, every day a challenge. I think having ADHD, autism, bipolar and tics, as a man, every day is a challenge, and I think sometimes waking up can be hard, but I'm very I think as a advocate person for mental health, I speak about it openly anyway to people, and I feel I struggle a lot, but sometimes I remember the positive things in my life rather than negative things, and I try and journal, I try and run. Today I've gone for a long walk and try and clear my head after a bad day.
Here at the Hero's Journey, we're trying to understand what drives a man or a woman to contemplate the idea of ending their lives, like my friend David did.
Have you got my good side? Huh? Have you got my good side?
Yeah.
Hi Zach, so how are you today?
I'm okay, thank you. Yeah. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you doing? How's your week been?
My week's been okay, yeah, kind of up and down, really. Yeah. A couple of trials and tribulations with work, yeah. Personal matters are fine, though, yeah. Thank you for asking, yeah.
Yeah, and on the subject of mental health, what do you think of this subject?
Yeah, it's an important subject, of course. Yeah. It's a lot more of a conversation these days, isn't it? Which is good, of course. Talking it into existence is a good thing, and there's no harm in the discussion whatsoever.
Why would the professional with a source of income Why would someone with a family contemplate the idea of suicide? Is it depression? Is it anxiety? Is stress? Is addiction? Hi bro, what's your name?
Sam.
Hi Sam, how are you?
I'm not too bad, feeling a bit wheezy, but I'm positive. Yeah.
Mental health, what's your subject about the mental health?
I think it's a very difficult thing to go through. I think for me personally, I've dealt with it a lot of times, obviously losing my friend and obviously being away from family and that kind of stuff has been difficult to deal with. But I think for me, just having like a safe space, dealing with therapy has kind of helped me get through difficult moments.
What challenge have you faced?
I lost my friend 4 years ago, he committed suicide, so from then on, it's been kind of tough to kind of continue with life, not having like someone to speak to that you can tell everything pretty much. And other than that, I've lost other family as well, but I mean, sometimes in life you have to just keep going anyway. So.
Hi ladies, what's your name?
Marianne.
Cara. Cheryl. Sophia.
So, mental health, what's your view on mental health in both men and women? Where do we start?
I'll start. I think it's a very taboo subject. I think previously it's been neglected a lot, but I do think a lot has been done more now to advocate for it more, a lot more services spoken about, a lot more in school, but I definitely think there's still not enough support for all across all ages, I think, still, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's improving. So I work in a school, and so mental health is like really important, and we're trying to push that message across to parents and to children that it's fine to talk about it, and it's fine not to have good days and days where your mental health might not be as strong as it might be on other occasions, but also to talk about it, because I think, like Sophia said, it can be a very taboo subject, and particularly in men, I think that they feel that they have to be a certain role model, they have to have a certain mental health strength.
Hi mate, yeah, what's your name?
I'm Jake.
Hi Jake, are you having a good day today?
Yeah, really good today. Great weather, yeah, really good, thank you.
Jake, on the subject of mental health, for this very short documentary, what do you think? What's your view?
It's really important to focus about, really important to talk about, most importantly. Something that everybody goes through, so yeah, it's really important to talk about, yeah.
Have you ever experienced the mental health challenge yourself?
Yeah, well, I moved from a small town to Manchester, and that was quite a challenge. I've had things go on, like everyone goes through it at the age that I am. I'm only 22, so I think when you go through a lot of changes, then yeah, it's definitely going to catch up with you.
When it comes to mental health, men's mental health, women's mental health, here at the Hero's Journey, we have detected two journeys. There is the victim's journey, and there is the hero's journey. So what is the victim's journey? What is the hero's journey when it comes to your mental health? The victim's journey is my friend David. He experienced mental health challenges, depression, anxiety, feeling lost, feeling overwhelmed. He committed suicide. This is the victim's journey. So what is the hero's journey, and how do you start your hero's journey to avoid the victim's journey? You can start the hero's journey by understanding the 5 dimensions. What are the 5 dimensions? My life and your life and the life of your relatives and your friends are made of 5 dimensions. We have, the first dimension is the spiritual dimension. The spiritual dimension deals with your mental health. It's like a box that has your soul, your mental health, your thoughts. And then we have your emotional dimension. The emotional dimension deals with family, with relatives, with relationships. So you have your grandparents, your mother, your brother, your father, your sisters, your cousins, and your grandparents. And then you have, so this is your biological family. And then you have a second family, is the family that you create with your spouse. Brother.
Yes.
Delighted to see you today.
Nice to see you.
Yeah. You want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Winston Carrington.
Yeah. So what was your relationship with your father? Does that affect the mental health?
Right, so I came here, my mother left Barbados because my father was, we call it a rumhead. So he used to drink, yeah, and he was very violent. So my mother sold up everything, because don't forget, it's the 50s we're talking about. 57. My mum came 57, I came 1958. So I was 7 when I came here. So the thing about, what was the question again? I've sweat off.
The relationship with the father.
Oh yeah, the father. So my father, I didn't really know my father. The last time I saw my father, I bit him on his leg because he hit my mother. And I was about 4 or 5. I was very young, you know what I mean? So I never really had a dad, really, because when I came, my mother was with a gentleman that she later had 2 children with. Yeah. So, and he didn't ever really take me under his wing and put me on his knee and said, "Look, come here, son, I love you," or anything like that. It was more that he was never disrespectful, but I never really got that fatherly love or experience of that fatherly love.
The third dimension is the social dimension. The social dimension deals with society, with community. Then we have the fourth dimension. The fourth dimension is the professional dimension. It deals with your source of income, with your job. So then we have the fifth dimension is your biological dimension. Your biological dimension is your immune system, your health. There is a point in your life when one of these 5 dimensions goes into a crisis, and this crisis can cause a mental health challenges, the end of a relationship, you lose your job, your parents go through divorce, you can't develop depression, you can't develop anxiety. Have you ever experienced a mental health challenge yourself?
Of course, yeah, I would say so, yeah. You know, life's pretty challenging, isn't it? You know, it has its own obstacles, you know, be that figurative or philosophical, you know, it's, you know.
What challenge did you face?
Well, trying to compete in the game of life, you know. You're born with certain tools, aren't you? You're born with certain gaps, let's say, and that's what it's about, isn't it? You know.
What did you do to overcome these challenges?
Okay, yeah, I had a conversation with myself. I would say a very thorough, in-depth, objective chat with, you know, where I'm at, why I'm here, and luckily, you know, I don't think I have any conditions which actually block me from overcoming them, and. You know, I was facing a lot of bitterness growing up. You know, I used to be bullied as a child, you see, and that kind of left a chip on my shoulder, you know.
Yeah, so, what's your name, bro?
Benjani.
How are you, Benjani?
Yeah, good today, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well, bro. So the subject of mental health, what's your view on it?
I think it's very important because a lot of people go through it, but I think it's especially important to men because I feel like men don't get enough support. And in certain situations, I feel like men's mental health gets played down a lot.
And the challenge you have gone through, what kind of challenge did you face and how did you overcome them?
So recently my dad died and it put me down a lot. I was going through a, you know, bad phase. I still am through it, but through the people around me and the support I've been getting, I've overcome that. I'm a very strong person, so I've overcome, a lot of hard challenges. It's been rough recently, but you know, I am a very strong person, so I just keep going. And
so we just spoke to Benjani. Benjani is a young man who is strong to overcome the death of his father. A few years ago, I was in the same shoes as Benjani. I had a job, a very well-paid job, and I had a career in tech. But then my father died. The death of my father was the catalyst to transformation, but it was not an easy transformation. First was the pain, the depression, the anxiety, the feeling of overwhelming, and the loss. So in your life, the challenge will come. You have 5 dimensions. You have the spiritual dimension, you have your emotional dimension, which deals with the family. You have your social dimension, it deals with community and society. You have your professional dimension, it deals with your income, with your job. You also have your biological dimension. There will be a point in your life when one of these dimensions gets into a crisis. So in Benjani's case, is his father. His father died. In my case, was my father died, and then my mother died. This created a crisis. When you look into your mental health journey, there are causes like the death of a relative, the death of a parent, the death of a friend, the death of a colleague can start a mental health crisis. The central message is the following: you are not on a victim's journey. You don't have to go on a victim's journey. You can go on the hero journey. The death of a father in the hero journey, we call it, is a call to adventure. It's a call to personal transformation. The death of my parents inspired me to leave my mother to find a job and start a career as a writer, as a coach. So it's difficult, it's a very difficult challenge at the time, losing a father or losing a mother. But this Loss can inspire you to believe in yourself and to start the process of healing yourself. Hi, man. What's your name?
I'm Jerry.
Hi, Jerry. So, subject of mental health. What's your view?
I think it's as important post-pandemic as it's ever been. I think the country's experiencing huge increases in the numbers of people who are genuinely struggling.
Have you ever experienced a mental health challenge yourself?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I suppose one positive about it these days is that certainly as far as men are concerned, we're far more willing to talk about it. You know, there's a receptivity to